everybody, it is your girl Jay, and I'm here for another episode of Jay Speaks, and I am excited about this episode because I've got my girls with me, and they are part of a group we call Trio Tribe. And why is that so important? Because they are great friends. And the whole gist of today's podcast is I want you guys to understand the importance of friendship when you're on life's journey, when you're trying to get to where you're trying to get to. You need to make sure that you have a great group of friends around you. And so these ladies that I have with me, one is missing. Shout out to Tony. I hope everything is going well. But she was able to be here today because they're mothers and she had to take care of her son. And he is a basketball player and he's doing a phenomenal job. And he is very competitive and doing really well. So we're wishing them many blessings and well wishes. But these two ladies that I have with me, they're going to kind of give you guys a little bit of their journey. They're going to talk about their businesses, and I'm going to ask them a few questions and give you guys reasons why you need to have a good support group, some good friends around you. So I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself. You know, you just kind of go with it and y'all take turns. You do whatever you want to do.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Sandra, brand ambassador for Lamar J. Exotic Cigars. I am happy to be here among my peers. I love these ladies so much, and I'm really excited about today's episode.
All right. What's going on, everybody? My name is Talina, your host. Jessica, thank you so much for having us on. We really appreciate it. So I just want to say, who's thirsty? Number one, do cocktail catering. And we look forward to talking about our tribe and why it's important to have a good foundation of friendship.
So the first thing I want to ask, so every friend group has like a certain person. So who is like the mom of the group?
We literally call her TT. Like... because she is wise. Like she is wise. So yes, most definitely. Tony, shout out to Tony's Natural Remedies. Okay, yes. If you need sea moss, if you need elderberry, if you need to be healed, I'm just saying.
Healed.
It's amazing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if Tony was here, she would say.
It was Sandra.
How do you feel about that?
That is hilarious. It's so true. That's why I'm laughing. But yes, they literally call me TT. I'm the TT of the group. I try to be the voice of reason. Try to make sure we're operating on a mature level, which my ladies tend to be pretty mature anyways. But I can tell when their feathers get a little ruffled by some things, and I just be like, don't let that get to you. Nope, this is how we're going to handle this.
No, they ain't going to play with me.
So yes, I am definitely the mom of the group.
I can see that though. So how did y'all meet? Like what brought on this whole Trio Tribe? How did it get started?
So we've known each other for some years, actually. Mm-hmm. It's mostly just been like bumping into each other, or if I share a post and one of them would be like, hey, you know what, I'll come out. I've shared a post one day about being out a few years back, and Tony was like, oh, I'd love to pull up. I shared a post one day about skating, and Talina was like, oh, I'm going to pull up. And she's actually skated with me a few times, her and her mom. And we just kind of clicked from there. But it wasn't until a little over a year ago where we decided to meet up and actually hang out. And we've just been rocking with each other ever since.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So, Talina, I'm going to ask you. So, where were you at when you met Sandra and Tony? And, like, how did it help you? How did it encourage you or motivate you?
That is so interesting that you're asking me that. Because I was thinking about that, why it's such an important thing. So, I don't typically, I don't like drama. I don't do drama. So I don't typically have an issue with somebody. If we hang out, we hang out, but I'm not going to, I'm not going to hang out with people I don't want to hang out with. It doesn't make sense. Right. So in that space, even outside of them, the women that are in my life, we genuinely enjoy each other, and we have a understanding. Just because you don't see me every day or talk to me every day, that doesn't mean that we're not friends still, or that I'm not there for you. So I think being in that space kind of manifested the tribe, because even though for the most part, we chat with each other every day for the most part, but that's just checking in, right? It's just nice to, and that's not something that has to be done, but we enjoy each other. So I want to say, having that tribe, who doesn't need a support system?
Right.
And then, these ladies are genuine. nobody is perfect. I'm not perfect, but you know, it's just nice to be able to not have a judgment-free zone,
Correct,
and be able to have conversations that are adult conversations without somebody being like, you know, pss, pss, or what, you know, we're adults here. We can have these personable conversations, and we can talk business, and we can bounce ideas off of each other. So I love them. They have increased a steady path in my life, because being around other women entrepreneurs who are mothers, who are single mothers, but you know, some of us co-parents, shout out to, thank you. Thank you. But yeah, you know, it's just, we mesh.
We do.
We just mesh. I don't know how to explain it. So
it just worked out. It honestly just worked itself out. You know, I really do believe that God places people in our lives for particular reasons at particular times. And the moment that He dropped them into my life, it's just been amazing, you know, and it's taken some work. You know, we're not always, you know, prom and prepper and graceful and so loving of each other. Sometimes we have our moments, sometimes we have our downtime, like when she said, you know, sometimes we have to take a break. We even converse outside of our group. We have friends outside of our tribe, of course, but within our tribe, sometimes we might speak to one another outside of that. I might hop out of our group chat just to check on her, might hop out of the group chat just to check on Tony, and there's no issues with that. Like, we all do that. But a primary thing of our friendship is that the three of us are also confident, and we are mature enough to
and not
properly act within our realm of each other. There's no jealousy, okay? We all come with our baggage. However, we also come with our positive aspects as well. And like she said, it just meshes, you know. And we meet a lot of women who are always like, oh, I want to hang out with the tribe. I want to come hang out with y'all. You know, someone said to me one day, I want to be a part of the tribe. And I was just like, oh, you know, you get to hang out with us sometime. But in my mind, I'm thinking, sis, you don't know the amount of effort it takes to be within our tribe, because we're not out here to show off. We're actually out here just to handle our business and love on each other as we should, you know. And it takes a lot of work, you know, kind of like relationships. You know, friendships require that same amount of effort.
Absolutely.
So if you're an insecure woman, if you get upset easily because no one's reached out to you like in 24 hours, if it bothers you that someone may have, you know, gone silent, and I don't mean like just silent and didn't let us know, but sometimes it's like, hey, y'all, I'm going to be down for the next couple days. So if you don't see me in the chat, I'm just handling some stuff.
Gotcha.
If you're not okay with that, you're not going to survive within our group, because we understand that even though we are a trio tribe, we're also still individual beings, and we still have our lives to live as well, you know, because I've been a part of needy relationships before, and I don't have the capacity for that, you know, because you spend so much of your time trying to, in which I have before, spend so much of my time trying to accommodate to others and trying to uplift others and trying to pour into all these people that were so demanding of my time and my presence and my ability to feed into them, that I was losing myself.
Gotcha.
It's not like that with them. I don't have to do all this excessive pouring, you know. We try to find a proper balance, not a perfect balance. We try to find a proper balance among ourselves and within our group, so that we're not depleting ourselves trying to satisfy one or the other.
Right. I'm sorry, I'm texting my daughter.
And I believe also like giving each other permission, which we don't need permission, but it's almost like sometimes like, tell me it's okay for me to take a telework day today. Like, I'm at my people capacity. Yeah, if you can, go ahead. Say, you know, tell me it's okay that I need to make this a self-care day for myself. Yes, do that, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's just rewarding to have some, you know, a group, a friendship group of women who are, like you said, confident and no negative bad will towards each other. Like, genuinely, when something good happens for you, I'm excited for you. Like, you know,
be telling everybody, y'all see what my girl did. Look at my
like,
boo.
you know, somebody who, like, Tony cannot be here and we can still speak highly of her and her business. You know, people who will speak highly of you when you're not in the room.
That's true.
So
That makes a big difference.
Yep. But my favorite thing about our group, and I don't want anyone to take this personally. I understand everybody comes from different walks of life, and not everyone may be on the same level you are. But my absolute favorite thing about my tribe is we don't spend bukus of our time gossiping about other people. You can pick any section of our group chat. You are not going to see a whole lot of gossip. You're not going to see a whole lot of hating on other people. You're not going to see a whole lot of other people's business in our chat.
Right.
It's literally, how are you doing? Tell me about your day. How are the kids? Did you remember to rest? It's okay. Go take your break. Oh, you need to go silent for a bit? That's fine. Handle your business. You know where we are. It's so much uplifting, and again, it takes a lot of work to put together such a group like that. But I'm thankful for it. You know, and they don't know they're stuck with me now. Like,
Run,
you can try to get out of this friendship. It's not. There's no getting out.
There's no getting out.
So yeah, that's really wonderful that you got your people that you can have with you for a long time. I know with me, just telling a little bit about my story. So I think I'm like everybody friend. Like I don't really just have just a group of people that I hang around. So I call myself a drive-by lover. I'm going to love on everybody, I'm going to love on you for a minute. I'm going to go on back in my corner and mind my business. And during COVID time, I was working from home, and I found myself, like, extremely lonely. And I was like, man, like, what's the problem? And I realized I didn't have friends. And I realized, like, man, you really, really got to have some of those people that kind of push you through. And it's not just like I just need somebody like to talk to me and say, hey, Jessica, did you wake up today? Did you clean your house? But, just to have that companionship, hey, come on, let's go skating together. Let's go, do whatever, and understand and kind of pour into you in a way that is not overwhelming. Because you can have friends and it be a little too much, like when you got that friend that's constantly depressed, constantly unhappy, constantly going through something. You're just kind of like,
it's always always something.
Look, speak your mind.
Like, so you trying to tell me Jack and the Beanstalk went in your house
again
and stole what?
They stole the axe again. You couldn't cut. Yeah, I get it. And so I really feel like when we're going through life's journey, like they're friend. And when I'm saying friend, I'm not talking about somebody of the opposite sex. I'm talking about like real deal friends. Somebody that you can just call and just have a moment. Or sometimes you just need a laugh. I know there's been plenty of times I just need somebody to laugh with. Like I just need to be my goofy self. And I don't want to talk about my problems. I don't want to talk about what's going on at home. I just genuinely want to laugh and have a good time. So with all that being said, so has there ever been a time where you guys really had to pick each other up from a low place? Or has it always just been, y'all have just always been positive and everything has always been?
Oh yeah, most definitely. We've definitely had those moments. We have, like I'll use Tony as an example. She has times where like the colder it gets outside, it kind of puts a damper on her mood. So sometimes she'll distance herself, and with good reason. And we'll make sure we check in on her, make sure she's upbeat. So yeah, we're not always, glorious and positive. Sometimes we do have to pick each other up. I had a moment myself where I needed some uplifting, and they'd be like, it's okay, Sandy, it's going to be fine. Let's pick yourself up, don't stay there too long. But we also understand that, you can't force someone out of their mood. You have to grant them their space. And we're very good about that. Handle this how you see fit, as long as it's within, a proper way to do it. As long, just handle you, just do you, we don't encourage like, hey, fuck what they say, go smack that bitch in the face. No, we don't encourage anything like that.
I don't know. Sometimes you gotta have that encouragement though. Like sometimes you gotta be like, man, just come on.
Well, and I get that, but not always that, but yeah, we have had moments where we had to lift each other up and also grant that person space, because you never know what people are going through. And as close as we are, I'm sure we all have things that we haven't always shared, and if someone's going through something private, we respect that privacy. We don't say, well, tell me what's happening, tell me what's going on. Oh, you haven't shared that with me? What you scared I'm gonna? No, we don't push anything. Yes, we do not take it personally. It's fine if you didn't share that, and this this is what's stressing you out right now. Just handle your business, and you know how to find us.
Yeah. How long have you guys been friends?
Solid. Let's see. Like I said, we've known each other for some years, but solid, I think it's just been over a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who was the initial, because like I know my friends from college, like it was just me and one friend, and then we, slowly added to the group. So who was like the foundation? Like who started it off first?
I think that
That's a good question, because
I think that we all kind of migrated at the same time. I don't think that, like I said, like you said, we were all friends. Like we all knew each other. We've hung out from time to time, but I think we kind of migrated together. So I don't know if there's like,
it just came together.
yeah, like literally, it was just like we all just kind of came together, and that was that. But
Cool.
I will say, so I'm very, very particular with who I have in my home. You know that old saying, you can't have everybody in your house. Like I stand firm on that. I will say though that I did throw a private party one day at my home, and I was very selective with my list. And everyone I invited showed up. And they've just been my babes ever since.
I was like, that
yeah, we had an amazing time.
That's what's up.
Even the people that came over for the party, like we're still like in network with them, talk to them or what have you, and we've just had a blast ever since.
Yeah.
So maybe that.
I was
kicked it
gonna
off
say
on
that's
it.
probably the kickoff. If you
But
have to,
prior to that, we have
Yeah.
actually like done our own kind of things, like just as far as just being out together, we have like done that before. But I do remember throwing a party at the house one day and invited them, and we just stuck.
Ever since.
Yep.
One thing I have noticed about y'all, especially, seeing y'all on social media, is when it comes to business, y'all full on support each other. And, and I hear y'all talking, and I hear how y'all support each other's kids as well. Like, tell me about that. Like, how was that for y'all?
Man, how can we not? Between the three of us, there's so many. How can we not support the kids?
And I mean, I love that. Like, if Tony's son's having basketball, if we can make it, we're going to try to make it. And that's just nice for us to be able to do that. How are the young Royals? How are they doing?
Nice.
That's Sandy's baby.
Nice. Oh.
How are your kids, Talina? So we are always asking about each other's children and just, where are you at mentally? How are you feeling? So I just want to say this real quick. So they threw me a surprise birthday party last year. I mentioned to Sandy that I had never had a surprise birthday party.
I think you mentioned it to, just to
Or
be
who did
clear,
I?
I think you mentioned it to Tony
Okay.
because Tony brought it to my attention.
Okay, I mentioned it to Tony. Yes, you are right. Look at them.
Yeah.
See, they can be in memory too. Better tell the truth. No. So, and I don't know, like that just, I was like, that was so caring. Like, it was so sweet. So I just want to tell y'all publicly that I love y'all.
Oh.
Yes.
Everybody that was involved as well. Like, it was really sweet.
It was. That was a very nice day, and that kind of touched bases on my next point too. We actually take initiative. It's not a whole lot of like, I don't know, I have to always wait on them to check on me. Sometimes they're just like boom, boom, they're like
Right.
with it, But at the same time, they also understand that somebody may need some space as well. But I do love the fact that as a whole, we do try to take initiative and make sure, hey, have you done this? Have you done that? So I thought that was very cool. And we had a lot of fun planning it too.
Girl, I had, and then, did Tony bring me?
Yeah.
I
She brought
forgot
it
what
to
she said, but I was just like, what? What is she talking about?
It was so funny. It was so funny because, the way we planned it out. So we had to create a whole other group chat separate from our initial one to plan it.
Oh,
'Cause-
wow.
So Tony created the chat and she was like, so did y'all catch that Talina says she's never had a birthday party? And I immediately started going back through the chat like, how in the hell did I miss that? I was like, no, I didn't see her say that. She's like, y'all, we got to do something for her. So we planned it at my house, invited our usual crew, and she was like, okay, so I'm just going to tell her that, she said, I told her I was going to take her out to dinner, but we're going to make a pit stop at your house because I need to drop off like some elderberry or something.
That was cool.
So
nice.
she had to come up with something because, you know, as they're pulling up, she's going to see the cars in the yard. And we were hoping she didn't like recognize really like who was driving who. She was like, I know she's going to get it when she sees everybody's cars. And she's like, I was like, well, maybe she won't remember, you know, what everybody drives or whatever. And I said, just tell her that I got like my kids are there and they got some kids over, you know, having a little gathering or whatever. So I think that's what she told you, like Sandy's friends, Sandy's kids' friends are over, and you know, we're just gonna drop in really quick.
Twice, like we pulled up, I was like, all right.
Yeah, she was like, one of the kids got sick and Sandy needs some elderberry, so we're gonna drop it off. So when she walked in,
I said, you know what? I should have caught that. I should have caught that. Now, come on. And he listening to Tony. What? Okay.
And she was so worried, and this is another reason. This is another testament to how strong we are within our tribe. She was so worried that I would be upset that she and Tony were going out.
Yeah.
She was like, she questioned that. She was like, I don't know, should we go over there like that? Like, I don't want anybody to feel bad because it's just going to be us and we didn't invite it. And I was like, girl, because when Tony was telling it, when she was explaining this, and I'm looking at my phone like, oh my God, Lena. Like, we are all adults, but I really appreciate the sweetness behind
it's so
that.
Funny because that's what Tony said. She was like, we're adults. I was like, no, we can't.
And she started explaining that after we surprised her. She was like, y'all, she had to catch her breath first. She was like, okay, first of all, I was so worried because I was like, it's just us. I didn't invite anybody else. And they gonna be mad. It's like, nah, girl, please. It's all good. Do you? But seriously, like, we're adults, you know?
It's just funny. Like, but that just shows you, like, we really do take each other in consideration.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of friendships, they're very similar to relationships, and you have to listen to your people, and you have to and act on it. You know, they didn't have to do that. Obviously, we could have just went, you know, to dinner or something, but that was just that extra oomph. Like, I just want to show you that we care. So that was really sweet. So I appreciate that.
That is really sweet. You know, what I'm hearing when I'm listening to y'all's stories is you guys are kind of like your own community. So, like, do the kids come around? Like, do the kids know each other? And do y'all have them hang out with y'all? Or
So with our schedules, it gets a little crazy. So we can't have them meet up as often as we would like to. But our children have been in the same space together a number of times. So if I wouldn't say they're close enough to where they would call each other friends, but if they saw each other out, they would recognize each other.
So another thing I had wanted to ask, so what was the kind of like the trial? Like, every friend group, I know my friends, we had our little bump in the road. What was y'all's bump in the road?
I'll let you take that one, Sandy.
Uh-oh.
So
this must be a big one.
Well, there's a couple of bumps in the road.
I was going to say, yeah.
So, of course, you know, we initially started out with a larger group of us.
Okay.
And it's now the three of us. No ill intent towards the others that didn't make it this far with us. But that itself, I don't want to go into a whole lot of detail, but that itself was our first bump in the road. Yeah. And with it being just the three of us, it seems to really work. And we've sort of become closer since then.
Okay.
We've opened up more since then. And of course, we've had to work on more trust levels and trying to establish, you know, something a little deeper since all of that has transpired. Another bump in the road. Tony and I have actually had a bump in the road. And again, not going into great detail, but there was a gentleman that tried to play the both of us simultaneously. And it really broke my heart because, number one, I felt like, wow, you really tried to test my friendship. Like, I just felt like that was such a deep disrespect.
Yeah.
Like you feel some type of way. So you felt like you could try to retaliate by playing on my friendship with one of my closest friends.
Oh, wow.
So that really pissed me off. And I lost a little bit of sleep over that because at the moment I really thought I had really lost a friend over some guy who didn't. I'm trying not to give too much information, but
had ill intent.
over a guy that had some ill intent towards one of us. So he tried to use me to get back at her, and
That's crazy.
it was real. Like, I'm trying not to get emotional right now because I really hate when people try to. It's just crazy. Like, wow, you're a whole grown ass man, and this is what you choose to do with your time, because I didn't have anything to do with your situation or whatever was involved, you know. But to come to me, and then the way it all unfolded, though, long story short, it did not affect our friendship.
Good.
And she and I are still just as trustworthy and just as loving today. You know,
I think that's a good thing, though, because I mean, yeah, when I know from my own personal experience with friend groups, like, you know, we're all beautiful women, and we go and we hang out, we're gonna run into guys, and guys are gonna see, and they're gonna like, I want to talk to you, and yeah, guys can come in between friends, and I have had that experience, and I mean, you know, we bounced back, everything was perfectly fine, but they can, I mean, a man can break a friend group really quick.
Yeah, and it was crazy because in the back of my mind, because I was hella persistent too, because I was thinking, I'm not about to let my friend walk out of my life because of this, you know. And I, you know, provided her with as much proof as I possibly could, gave her everything, you know, like transparent, like this is what my situation is with him. You know, it was nothing beyond that, just FYI. And it wouldn't have been someone that I would have been interested in dating, but nonetheless, that it was just the fact that he intentionally, like, once everything unfolded and I was able to see what was really going on, he felt some kind of way about her and decided to approach me as a means to. So I was like, wow, when I found that out, I thought, okay, that means you knew who the hell I was, and you still came to me. You know, because I didn't know who he was. I had no idea who he was. But when I learned that she knew him, I thought, oh, okay, I get what he's trying to do. You know, long story short, guys, don't try to play us like that. Like, if you have an interest in one of us, keep that interest over there. And if it does not work out, don't try to bring it over here to one of us. You know, that's not cool. I can't stress this enough. We are adults. We're freaking adults. I'm 43 years old. I don't have time for games.
Exactly.
You know, but once all of that happened, it was like immediately like, nope, boop, you're blocked.
Done.
Number deleted. Don't ever reach out to me again. And I told him that, like, this is how I feel about the situation. You knew what the hell you were doing. Do not call my phone again. So, of course, he called. I did not answer. He decided to send a follow-up text. I didn't even respond to it.
Crazy.
Like, I'm that kind of person. Like, no, once I say I'm done, I'm done.
You're done. Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that, so for me, another personal thing. So I was married for 7 years, and my ex-husband was Navy. So I was not living in Alabama for a long time. So, you know, when you're a military spouse, you kind of have to, you're by yourself. You know, I'm all the way in Virginia. I don't know anybody. I don't have any family. And so moving there and then coming back and, you know, not having friends. I mean, outside of whoever you're dating or talking to, you need those friends. So for a guy to try to come in between that situation is actually kind of horrible, because I know from a woman's perspective, you know, we need that friend group. We need that other person that we can talk to. And, you know, a man, they're not emotional like we are. And so they're not going to understand when we're emotional and we're expressing things the way that we do. So having friends is, in my opinion, the most important thing you can have along your life's journey. I mean, spiritually. Now let's talk spiritual. So, do you guys bring spirituality into your conversations, or is it kind of like, do you guys share the same beliefs, or?
You want to touch base on this first?
I want to say that I think that we all have our stance on spirituality and religion, and we can have those conversations, and it's a safe space, and nobody's going to judge you if you didn't go to church, right, or if you only went to Bible study and not on Sunday, you know. We're not, or if you didn't, you know, whatever your belief may be, but we all do share understanding for each other, and we respect what they believe. So I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. We talk about prayer. We want each other to have a blessed day. You know, we talk about those things. So I think that helps incorporate. You cannot have a healthy relationship without spirituality. being in it.
Facts. That's
Because
true.
we're a spiritual creature.
Yeah.
So now how you decide to dissect that and do whatever you do with your spirituality, that's different. But you do have to have a strength in that, because that's what keeps us wise. That's what keeps us without a jealous spirit. You know? So.
Oh yeah, yeah. We definitely prepare our minds spiritually for anything we take on throughout the day and throughout our friendship. I am not a religious person, like far from it. There's not a church home I belong to or anything of the sort. I used to, but I gave that up many years ago. And since I've done that, I feel like life has just been so much better. But I do believe in God. It's not to say that I'm an atheist or anything. I do still believe in God. I just don't believe in religion.
That's,
you know, God himself is not a Christian. You know, I just felt like Christianity was just not for me. But I do believe in spiritual practices, and I do believe in living as though God would see fit, you know, because a lot of us think we have to tie Jesus and God into every single thing that we do. And don't get me wrong, I get it. You know, y'all believe, you know, well, God is everything. I totally get that. However, God also expects for us to hold ourselves accountable.
there you go.
We also have to just simply do right, you know, versus using God as a means to.
It was the devil that made me do
Right.
Yeah, like, and we
no,
also
that
use
was your
it-
choice.
Yes, and we also
You
use
did it 50 times.
Yeah.
You had something to do with it.
Exactly.
Yes, and we also use it as a deflection. You know, like if I have an issue with Talina and I don't tell her about it, and I instead say I'm just going to give it to God. No, that's deflection.
Yeah.
You're using it as a cop out. Be an adult and go talk to your friend. Y'all gonna hear me
Exactly.
use the word adult a whole lot. I'm so sorry, but I stress that so much because we're oftentimes not the adults we claim to be, and we're oftentimes not the person God intends us to be, but we always
Speak
want
on
to
it.
preach about God all the
Speak on
time.
it. Speak
and
on
I feel
it.
like we do use that as like this cloaking device.
Make yourself look like a good person.
Yeah. Like you can't just say, well, it's in God's hand. Well, no, God does expect for you to do some of the work. You can't just have this whole issue with your best friend
Yes.
and not address it and say, I'm just going to give it to God, because you went to your other friends to talk about it.
Okay.
You went to your coworkers to talk about it. You're praying to God about it. And the one person you have an issue with, you didn't go to them about it.
But even if, so you're talking about God, I don't mean to interrupt you, but if you're talking about God and how he tells you to do things, like you said, if you're going to put God in it, make sure you can practice it. Because it do say in that same Bible that if you have an issue with that person, you take it to that person with love.